Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Thursday weather update recorded on October the 31st, which is Halloween for some of you. Let's have a look and see what's going on with the animated wind map. Windy weather through Cook Strait, Wellington, Waited Upper, a little bit brisk around northern parts of New Zealand, although nothing too major, and to the south also a little bit windy, but pretty much the whole country is caught in this westerly airflow, high pressure to the north, low pressure to the south, and the air pressure sandwich is that windy westerly. That's the filling of the sandwich. So let's have a look at the bigger picture. You can see that high to the north here, the westerly flow dragging in cloud and the wet weather here along the western and southern parts of the South Island. So over the next 48 hours from this afternoon, let's animate it and you'll see that wet weather moving up the west coast, moving into the western side of the North Island, and it falls apart. The front is pretty much turning to showers. For some parts, it won't be very much. If you're in the east here and you want some rain, it won't be very much for you either. The front falls apart into the North Island. For the west coast, Fiordland and Southland, maybe parts of Otago, still seeing some wet weather, I'm sorry to say. I know you are well and truly over it at the moment. So this is how we look at 1 o'clock on Friday. You can see the high to the north. Here is that front moving up the west coast. So there could be a few isolated heavy falls, but the overall rainfall's not looking too major. A tiny bit of spillover across the mountains, but it won't be much. Canterbury looks mainly to completely dry. And as I say, a few showers coming in and a bit colder for some of you in the south. You can see it here with the maximum temperatures down in the very bottom part of the South Island, those lower temperatures, and up along the west coast. On the eastern side, from about Canterbury northwards, it is milder with those westerly winds. Here is the precipitation forecast. It is from this morning and it takes us through until Saturday morning. Heaviest rain along the west coast, where those rainfall totals get around sort of 50 to 100 millimetres, and that goes right up to the northwestern corner of the South Island and comes into places like Mount Taranaki and the Tararua Range. Rainfall totals there, again, not huge, 30 or 40 millimetres higher up. If you're in the blues, greens and yellows, it won't be a lot, but down here, Southland and Otago, you're still getting, 10 to 20 millimetres, which I'm sure is probably too much for many of you because it's just been so relentless for the last few months. And you can see here on Saturday, no change to that weather pattern. We do have some for Sunday though, a change. But for Saturday, you can see the colder airflow here over the South Island. So temperatures drop going around that high pressure zone. In comes the southerly or southwesterly, and that blows right up across the country. That is that cold front moving into the North Island, falling apart, bringing a few showers, nothing too major in there, mostly dry in the east, and it won't be a lot of rain to the north as it runs into that belt of high pressure. So on Sunday, here we go. Southland, Otago, west coast, drier weather, high pressure coming through, settling things down for you. Still a little bit cold, especially in the morning. May even be a few isolated frosts here and there in the South Island. The North Island's got a bit of a breeze, couple of showers in the east, not a lot really going on. Plenty of sunny weather coming in for parts of New Zealand. I say parts because every now and then you can get some low-level cloud that builds up coming out of the Tasman, for example, but it should be pretty sunny in a number of places, perhaps eastern parts of the North Island looking cloudiest. Now into Monday, and it is still dry in Southland, but the rain returns to Fiordland and over to Southwestland. So that southern part of New Zealand, that southern half of the South Island, more exposed to some severe weather. So from about, South Canterbury southwards. Rain on the west coast, down towards Fiordland, that's where it'll be heavier, so probably not too much of a problem there. But the winds will be quite strong. Severe gales, storms down here, this big storm down next to Antarctica, coupled with the high pressure zone over the North Island, brings in that windy weather, but it's not looking too alarming. By the time we get to Tuesday, the only area looking very windy is central parts of the country, places that are used to it. Bit of a breeze still for places like Auckland, and down around the western side of the South Island, not a huge amount of rain. That front moving northwards, falling apart as it does so. And by Wednesday, here comes the next high pressure zone. So there's some more good news. Still a bit cold though, down around Southland and Canterbury as a result of the airflows that are coming in there. Perhaps a temperature drop also for Wellington, Waited Upper, Hawke's Bay and Gisborne. And just a few leftover showers from that cold front as it reaches Auckland and Northland as we get towards the middle part of next week. Well, before I go, just wanted to update you again on Typhoon Kong-Rey, which is moving directly into Taiwan. The problem with this major typhoon is that it's going to directly go through the middle part of it as a pretty nasty storm. The strongest winds at the moment, 120 knots, that is 222 kilometers an hour sustained, and the gusts, 145 knots or 270 kilometers an hour. That's down about 30 kilometers an hour or so, but that's not going to make a lot of difference. And the last thing, the significant wave height at the center of this storm at the moment, 48 feet, that is almost 15 meters. Keep in mind, the door in your office or living room is probably only 2 meters. So 15 meters, 16 meter waves associated with this storm system. Here is the tracking from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center right through the middle of Taiwan. So that is why this is such a serious storm. Taipei is going to be affected by it. The good news is the Philippines, not so much, just brushing the very north here. Mainland China getting brushed by it, hopefully not too badly. There will be some very heavy rain. China's certainly had a lot of major storms over the summer they've just had. And now it curves around and brushes past Japan. Hopefully not a problem for Japan. Just have to keep an eye on the south there. That is all from me. We will see you again tomorrow, Friday, with our next New Zealand update.